Well, the 57th minute equaliser have left the game on a knife edge over in Belgium then. Gent 1, West Ham 1 finished in the first leg. There's plenty to discuss, that is for sure. Phil is joining me. Phil, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just still reeling over that result. Bit of a strange one, but we'll digress into it.
We certainly will. Frustrating, I think, in the end, because I feel like there was definitely an opportunity there tonight, and I don't think we've taken it in the end. I think it all starts off with the approach from Moyes, and I don't quite understand it looking back at it now, because we got the goal and then we sort of seemed to go, well, all right, that's it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we go like straight back to the beginning, first 10 minutes, I felt like we were the better team. We was moving the ball around pretty well, but there was just no what's the word, killer instinct, no shots going in or anything like that. We're just losing it. And when they get their chance to go forward, they're actually, they're being brave. They're taking a few shots. None of them are actually that great, but Ariola did get tested a couple of times. But that just shows the difference. So they're not afraid to, have a shot. As they grew a lot more into the game, and then we just looked like we didn't deserve anything until we got that. Well, there was the goal which got disallowed through was it handball, which was rightly so. And then when we got the goal at stroke of half time, it was like, good, let's kick on from that. And then second half starts. It was just pretty open, but I don't know. We were just lacking that bit of energy, really.
We were lacking a bit of Maxwell Cornet, I thought, and that's why I was baffled where he didn't come on. And so if we just run through and we'll talk about that VAR decision as well. Yeah. I think it was in the first half, I think they made the right decision in the end, because you can see it hits his arm. It would have been incredibly fortunate. Whether it hit his arm or not, if it went in and the goal stood, because of the absolute Roberto-esque nightmare that the goalkeeper made. It touched his arm as it went in. It had to be disallowed. I think the right decision was made, but we did put ourselves on the score sheet on the stroke of half time. And Danny Ings won't have an easier goal scoring the rest of his career. I was about to tweet, I think I did tweet how poor I thought Danny Ings was, but he got himself on the score sheet just on the stroke of half time. And good, well worked goal, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad he got on the score sheet. It's not the hardest goal in the world to score. Open goal, 3 yards out, but it's a goal in the back of the net, and it will do him a lot of good anyway. And when you score in the stroke of half time, that gives you that confidence going into the second half. So it was. I thought at that point we was playing pretty well. We just needed to get that final touch in, and luckily we got that. Especially after the like we said about the disallowed goal, I knew that was going to be offside. I mean, not offside, sorry, handball. I knew it was handball before they did the VAR check. But there we go.
Yeah, we'll see what you guys are saying in the chat. Evening to everybody. Get your comments and thoughts into the live chat. I'm fearing and dreading Sunday. Tell me about it, mate. With performances like that, we definitely won't be winning the competition or staying up in the Premier League. The approach just baffled me. And we sat here when the lineup came out at 4:30, Phil. And I went to you. I don't understand that. I don't understand how it. We've played a back four for a couple of months now, and yes, we've had a couple of thumpings goals wise, but we come off the back of a clean sheet at Craven Cottage in the weekend. Why does he revert back to a back five? I don't understand it. Nobody seemed to understand each other's jobs. Johnson had an absolute nightmare. I don't, I'm fed up of saying it. I don't think he's good enough. I've said it for a long, long time. I feel for him. And when their striker, the young lad, started going at him, I was like, oh, this is a Matoma at Brighton all over again. He was out of his depth there. Nobody really knew what they were doing. We were sitting so deep midfield wise, and I thought Lanzini, for the half we played, I thought he played well, but we were sitting so deep, which meant the attackers were disconnected from everything. I thought it was just a big mess, tactics and formation wise, Phil.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a time when it was I can't remember what point of the game it was, and it was a lack of communication from Johnson and Ogbonna. And that was when you're visibly moaning at your own player like that, that's never a good sign, really. So, I don't think he's really that cut out for it, Ben Johnson. So that's him playing in the centre or even at right back. And as you say, I thought Lanzini did look pretty decent when he was on the ball as well. But like you say, it's, that gap from the defence and the attack. We just needed a bit more free flowing, and it would have been a completely different story. But we just looked really nervy and on edge the whole game.
Yeah. Covered by Cat says, "What's up, guys? Didn't get to watch, but comments made it sound like a disappointing match for the most part. Heard Ben Johnson was hard to watch." Yeah, you got that bit right, mate. Andy, hope you are well. He says, "One of the worst performances of the season, starting 11 championship at best. Ben Johnson, dreadful. The list goes on. Don't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter. We played well last year as well." Exactly. And the one thing that made me chuckle was Moyes was having a right go at him towards the end. "Oh, you're not doing this." Like he looked livid. Well, you're the one that sets up the tactics like that, where we've played in the back four and we've looked okay. Especially I thought defensively we were very, very good at the weekend. And then we go and change things up for no reason. Yeah, I know we were away from home in Europe, and we found out Gent are no mugs. But there was absolutely no need to go to revert for some reason to a back five, Phil. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the show earlier, I mean, I don't know why I do it. It always seems like it's not too bad of a team, even if you got five at the back, and then a performance like that just goes to show why I'm wrong like that. But I always say this every cup game. It's a one-off. No, it's not a one-off game because it's two legs, but it's an opportunity to just go for it, go all out attack. We got the players like we always say. Cornet, who was definitely missing, should have come on at some point in the game. We could have brought the game to them, but when they scored their goal, that was it. They were just on top of us for the whole game after that.
As soon as they got their first, as soon as they got their goal, I said to Dad, the crowd had got up here, and we had to be careful. And I think in the end, looking back at it, I think we're quite fortunate to get away with there still on level terms. A lucky escape, I think, looking back at it. I really didn't understand this either. We brought Creswell on, when we wanted to go and win the game. I didn't think Emerson was amazing, but there was absolutely no need to bring Creswell on. Absolutely no need. Arsenal must be in fear for Sunday. Oh dear, that's going to be an interesting afternoon, isn't it? Lawrence, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Eamon says it's like Moyes has told the team to save themselves for Arsenal. They also were passing through the lines because they weren't covering them. They found so much space between our midfield. And the one thing I can't understand, for their goal, they just completely walked for us. Defensively pathetic, right? They walked right through us. And the thing I can't understand, we played a 5-man back line. We've got a midfield 3 that play relatively deep. So that's 8 players and a goalkeeper, right? And they still find gaps in our midfield and defence to just walk through us. How are we letting this happen?
Yeah, you can have all the players you want, but when there's no brains or communication, it all goes out the window. I mean, he just skinned Ogbonnerlive, he nutmegged him, went round, bang, into the goal. And I thought, that's it now. That's just the pinnacle of the game now. We ain't getting back into it.
Exactly. West Ham still in the game, not too bad. I think it's just a frustration that we could have gone on and we could have been leading heading back home now. We could have had a 2-0 lead, I think, if we would have been a little bit more proactive about it. But and I do think some people underestimated Gent tonight. A few people on Twitter, we should do them easy tonight. I never thought we did, and they proved that they are no mugs tonight. They're a good, decent side. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare away from home back at London Stadium next week. But we still have to be favourites, having the home advantage. But if we play like that, then I think we're going to find it tricky. Woohoo! Souček starting on Sunday. Brilliant. Miss Amara, thanks for joining us. Can't lie, feel very dejected after that. Reffing was awful and all. Indeed.
Yeah.
If we play like that against Arsenal, we are talking cricket scores to the fact I think Arsenal will overtake Man City on goal difference. Sean says every game nearly has been a massive struggle. We haven't flowed all season. That's a very valid point. Seems like a big, slog to get through games all season.
Do you know what? Out of all the games we won this season, how many of them have we actually been like really happy and cheerful that we've won? I can't think. Even when we have won games, we still moan about it.
Yeah, exactly. Mandy says you cannot bring in players who have not played for a while and expect them to have an 8 out of 10 game. There was a lot of sort of 5 or 6s out of 10 today, just a little bit below average, not really doing too much. There was far too many of those sort of performances today. Lanzini should get more game time. Leading into this game, also Downs. Gary says a poor performance by the team, but especially Johnson. Lanzini was also ineffective and had to be replaced. I thought Lanzini was played quite well in that first half. I was a welcome break from Evan Souček running that midfield. So I didn't actually think Lanzini played too poorly, Phil. I thought he was one of the better ones, actually.
Yeah, I'd say, you could almost say, best of a bad bunch, really. I wouldn't say he was outstanding, but he looked decent when he had the chance, when he was on the ball. It was obviously, it's always refreshing to see him play, because you don't see him play that much nowadays. But I expected he wasn't going to play the full 90 minutes, and Ben Rama coming on was like for like substitution, really. But yeah, I don't know. It was better in the first half, but it was going to happen. He was going to come off.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's take some more of these comments. Sharky says that was awful to watch. I had trouble staying awake. No word of a lie. West Ham win 1-0 versus Arsenal. Well, if that happens, Lawrence, then you are you can see into the future, my friend. Eamon says, let's face it, we've got away with one there. Let's hope Gent have another stinker up front next week, as I don't fancy us otherwise. They were quite what's the word? They were quite wasteful, I thought, up front. They had a good few chances where they could have done a bit better on. And I think they will be a different side away from home next week, but we've still got to take them as they were tonight, and they were a decent, well-oiled side.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at all their missed opportunities now, and they're doing the right thing. They're just getting the ball straight to the striker, and then just seeing the overhead kick effort which hit the bar. And just now it's 10 out of 10 for effort, but 5 out of 10 for execution, really, for a lot of their chances. But the important thing is they got a goal out of it anyway.
I think what we've got to take out of it is, again, it's another poor performance, but in the bigger picture, it's an okay result away from home in the quarterfinal. We aren't trailing like we have done. Last year we were trailing going back to London Stadium against a very good Sevilla side, and I know that's completely different. And we were in great form then, and we're in crap form now. But we are still on level terms. We're going back home. Hopefully, we can, get a decent atmosphere going around there. It is a quarterfinal, let's not forget. And I think Moyes may have undercooked it slightly in the preparation to this. But we've still got to have belief that we are the favourites to win this match.
Well, I hope so, because, we should still be the favourites. Look, it's going to be a lot different. It's at home. You're going to hear our crowd. They're going to be really, really on it, I hope. Because I couldn't really, usually when you watch West Ham play, especially away, a lot of the time you hear our fans more than the home fans. But it was only a couple of times that I actually heard our fans, really. So, go out there. We know we've got to take it a lot more seriously for the second leg. At least we're not losing this first leg, which is good. But we just got to go out there and just give it to them big time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've definitely got to up our game. Was he? I don't know. I think Paquette was booked at the end. Let's talk about that incident at the end, because we haven't really touched on it. I think the right decision was made at the end. I think the two decisions VAR was called into action. I think they made the right decision in the end. From the angle the referee had and from the initial angle we got, I thought he's got to be off, last man. But when you see the angle front on, he clearly wins the ball, wipes the ball out, and he does take the man with him, but he won the ball. It was a clean and fair tackle. And I think the right decision was made in the end, for us, which isn't great, but right decision, Phil.
Yeah, I was still very confused because I don't think the ref knew what he was doing either. Because it obviously sends him straight off.
Yeah.
Then even when they were showing the replay, I thought, okay, it's at least a free kick. I don't think it's a penalty, so it was going to be a penalty decision.
Yeah.
But then he looks at it again, then he sees, all right, it's not a red card. Then I thought, is he just giving him a yellow now? Then he's still got his red card out. I was like, what's going on? And all of a sudden, that's it. We've got nothing.
He couldn't find the bloke to go like that and go like that in the end. Like, he was hunting for him. I was like, it was a big shambles in the end. But VAR was called into action, and I think they made the right outcome. Sean says, makes picking the team in the next leg tricky with Bournemouth away 3 days after. Yeah, exactly. You know, we've now got to go out with a relatively strong side at the very least. With that game against Bournemouth, through a good side away from home 3 days after, so it makes that conundrum even worse for David Moyes now heading into that one. But it's not the worst result in the world. I think we were quite lucky in the end to escape with that draw and being on level terms heading back home. We should be favourites, but you never know with this West Ham side. Not a convincing performance, but away from home in Europe, maybe that's all we'll need. We'll look back at it now as a decent result if we get it done next week, Phil. And the big word there is if.
Yeah, if we get the result, if we win, then it don't matter. We'll be in the semi-finals, and it'll be something to look forward to. We came back from behind against Lyon and Sevilla last year, so there's no reason why we can't do it again in this tie. It's just because it was just a bit of an underwhelming performance, really. But we've been used to that all season.
Yeah. No, exactly. You know, very, very underwhelming in the end. 20 shots to our 4. I think it just about sums it up. Well, to be fair, people were putting in the chat and the build-up show, Phil, that it is an 8-2 formation in the end, and that sums up with those stats. Show the stats don't lie. We had 4 shots compared to their 20. I know we're away from home, but we need to have a bit more of a proactive attitude if we're going to go and stamp our authority on this competition. Yeah,
too reactive. We've got to be out there free flowing. This is reasons like that is why we're all calling out for a new manager with new ideas, new fresh attacking ideas. Because if we're just playing that too defensively all the time, it's all right when you are passing the ball around, but when there's no end product and no creativity at the end of it, it's just for nothing really. So it's just very frustrating to watch. If you're basically playing an 8-2 formation, you feel sorry for the attackers that we do have.
So there we go. We head back to London Stadium next week on level terms. In between that, we are back at home against Arsenal on Sunday. That's going to be a fun one, isn't it? Exactly that. But it's some exciting stuff coming onto the channel in the next few days. We've got a nice little interview coming to you tomorrow morning. So hit the bell icon hit the bell icon if you haven't already, along with that subscribe button if you haven't already as well, to be notified when that comes out tomorrow morning. Potentially, hopefully, we're going to have a very exciting preview heading your way this time tomorrow evening, so make sure you check out that as well. And another European game done. Our 100% record in Europe has gone, but we are still unbeaten, so we're going to take that, and we will leave it there. Phil, final thoughts?
Clean yourself up, boys. We're going to get ready for Arsenal, and then you have to clean yourself up again, and let's do it. Let's get second leg done and dusted next week.
Yeah, hopefully a bit more convincing, a bit more authoritarian, and hopefully just a bit more going us, really. Come on, West Ham, for goodness sake. Hopefully see you tomorrow at 10 for an exciting interview. Apart from that, from us.
Come on, you Irons.
We'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much. Plenty of content coming. Stay tuned, stay locked here on West Ham Official. See you soon. Bye-bye.